Today, I want to tell you a story of extinction, rediscovery, and perseverance. It's the tale of a large, colorful, flightless bird that once vanished from sight, was believed to be extinct, and then, against all odds, returned from the shadows of history. This bird is called the Takahe, a rare species found only in New Zealand. For decades, it was a ghost of the past, known only from bones and legend. But in 1948, the Takahe stunned the scientific world by making an incredible comeback. Let us now journey into the misty mountains of New Zealand's South Island to discover how this bird re-emerged, and what its survival means for conservation, biodiversity, and our understanding of extinction. The Takahe Porphyrio hochstetteri is a large, flightless bird belonging to the rail family. It's known for its deep blue and green plumage, red beak, and robust, chicken-like body. Adults weigh around 2.5 to 3.5 kilograms and stand about 50 centimeters tall. Though flightless, it is well adapted to life on the ground, using its strong legs to walk long distances through grasslands and alpine meadows. It is closely related to the more common pukeko, a smaller and more adaptable rail species that thrives throughout New Zealand and even in parts of Australia. But unlike its cousin, the Takahe is a specialist, historically living in remote, alpine tussock grasslands. Its diet mainly consists of tussock grasses, which it skillfully strips with its beak to consume the nutritious bases. The Takahe is a quiet, reclusive bird, one that is rarely seen even today. When European settlers arrived in New Zealand in the 1800s, they began reshaping the land, clearing forests, draining wetlands, and introducing new animals like deer, stoats, and rats. These changes devastated native bird populations. The Takahe, once common in the lowlands, was last seen in 1898. With no sightings for 50 years and the discovery of only skeletal remains, scientists declared the Takahe extinct. It joined the list of many other New Zealand birds that had vanished following human settlement. The bird's name faded into folklore, surviving only in Maori legend and museum specimens. It was considered yet another victim of modern human impact on isolated island ecosystems. Then, in 1948, something extraordinary happened. A group led by Dr. Geoffrey Orbell, a New Zealand physician and bird enthusiast, set out to search the remote Murchison Mountains in Fiordland, a rugged, alpine region in the South Island. Dr. Orbell believed the Takahe might still be alive in this untouched wilderness. After days of trekking, they heard strange bird calls. Soon, they caught sight of a bird unlike anything they'd seen, large, brilliantly colored, and completely flightless. It was the South Island Takahe, alive and well. The rediscovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It was one of the most exciting ornithological events of the 20th century. A bird believed extinct for half a century had survived in secret. The Takahe's biology is as fascinating as its history. They form monogamous pairs and live in small family groups. Both parents care for the young, which is essential for such a vulnerable species. Breeding usually occurs in spring and summer, and they typically lay just 1 to 2 eggs per season. Takahes are long-lived birds, often surviving more than 15 years in the wild. They are highly territorial, using calls and postures to warn off intruders. Because they can't fly, they depend heavily on their habitat remaining undisturbed. They need safe, grassy areas to forage, hide, and raise their young, something increasingly rare in the wild due to environmental threats. Rediscovery was only the beginning. By the 1980s, the wild population had dropped to fewer than 120 individuals. Introduced predators like stoats and cats were the main threat, along with habitat degradation caused by deer and human interference. To combat this, New Zealand's Department of Conservation (DOC) launched one of the country's most ambitious wildlife recovery programs. This included, Takahes were carefully moved to sanctuaries like Tiritiri Matangi Island, Kapiti Island, and Maud Island, where they could live without fear of predation. Eggs were even artificially incubated and hand-reared by conservationists, a delicate and risky process but essential to boost numbers. Thanks to decades of hard work, the Takahe is no longer on the brink of extinction. As of recent counts, over 500 individuals are alive today, many of them thriving in secure sanctuaries. In 2018, for the first time in over a century, takahes were reintroduced to the wild in the Kahurangi National Park on the South Island. This marked a historic moment, a return not just of a species but of hope. The takahe is now considered endangered, rather than critically endangered, a small but significant improvement. And yet, their survival still depends entirely on continued conservation. The Takahe has become a national symbol of conservation success. It represents what's possible when science, government, and communities work together. It also reminds us that extinction isn't always final, and that recovery is possible, even for species thought to be lost forever. New Zealand has become a world leader in bird conservation thanks to stories like this. Other species, like the kakapo and the kiwi, also benefit from the infrastructure and public support built around the Takahe recovery program. The Takahe has become a national symbol of conservation success. It represents what's possible when science, government, and communities work together. It also reminds us that extinction isn't always final, and that recovery is possible, even for species thought to be lost forever. New Zealand has become a world leader in bird conservation thanks to stories like this. Other species, like the kakapo and the kiwi, also benefit from the infrastructure and public support built around the Takahe recovery program.